A tearful Luis Suarez makes an incredibly emotional plea to Lionel Messi, right after the Argentinian superstar announces he is walking away. This is not just some rumor, this literally just happened. Leo Messi, the man who has won absolutely everything there is to win in soccer, just announced in an interview that he is retiring, that he is done, that he is walking away. But what comes next is what will truly leave you completely speechless. Because his absolute best friend in soccer, the teammate who shared the locker room, goals, and so many tears with him, Luis Suarez, broke down in tears right in front of the cameras. He was begging him not to do it, begging him not to go, begging that the world not lose Messi yet. And that is not even everything. Do not go anywhere, because Cristiano Ronaldo has also just spoken out. Yes, you heard that right. His ultimate rival, the very man whom Messi has battled against on the pitch for almost 20 years. Cristiano Ronaldo has just delivered a statement that absolutely nobody expected regarding Messi retiring. I promise you, when you hear what he said, you are going to have to rewind this video. This is my promise to you for the next few minutes. You are going to hear every single word of the plea from Suarez. You will find out exactly what Messi said in that interview and why he decided to make this choice right now. And you are going to hear the complete, unaltered statement from Cristiano Ronaldo, which has left the entire soccer world in absolute silence. 3 massive bombshells in one single video. I am going to share every detail without leaving out a single piece of the story. But let us take this step by step. If I throw everything at you at once, you will miss half the context that makes this so historic. Lionel Messi sat down for a massive interview today that is already the most watched of the entire year in soccer. And his words leave absolutely zero room for interpretation. He did not say I am considering it. He did not say we will see. He did not say it depends on my body. Instead, he simply said he is retiring. That is it. For him, the time has come to finally say enough is enough. His body is telling him to stop. And his mind, for the first time in his life, does not need soccer anymore. Pay close attention to this, because it is key to understanding everything next. Messi stated he is happy, he is at peace, and he has won literally every single tournament he has ever played in. Everything. Think about that for a second. World Cups, Champions Leagues, league titles, Copas America, Ballon d'Ors, everything. There is not a single trophy in the history of this sport that this man has not lifted with his own 2 hands. And he said that now, for the very first time, he just feels tired. Not injured, not angry, not frustrated, just tired. A deep exhaustion that is not in his body, but in his soul. The fatigue of someone who has given absolutely everything he had inside, and no longer feels any need to give any more. And right here, as a true soccer fan, I really have to say something, because I honestly do not think we are fully grasping the sheer scale of what just happened. This man has been playing professional soccer since he was 16, ever since he was a kid in La Masia who stood barely 5'3". And since then, he has not stopped for a single year, not one season without titles, without intense pressure, without the constant burden of having to be the absolute best in the world every single time he stepped onto the pitch. And now he says he is calling it quits, and people are actually surprised. What surprises me is that he lasted this long, that a human being could sustain that insane level of pressure for over 2 decades, and still cross the finish line with a smile on his face, saying he is truly happy. That, my friends, is simply not normal. That is from another planet. But wait, because here is what truly matters, the thing Messi did not expect, and what none of us saw coming. While Messi was giving that very interview, even as his words were starting to echo all across the globe, and while the headlines of every single newspaper on the planet were filling up with news of his retirement, there was a man out there who simply could not hold back his tears. A man who picked up a phone or stepped right in front of a camera and spoke words that came straight from his chest. That man is Luis Suarez. And what Suarez actually said, what he begged for, what he pleaded with bloodshot eyes and a breaking voice, is something I am not going to fully share with you just yet. Not to tease you, but because you first need to understand who these 2 men are to each other, so that Suarez's words hit you exactly the way they should. Because if I tell you right now, without any context or the history behind them, you would lose half of the emotional impact. And I am not going to do that to you. Stick around, because this is about to get intense. And as for Cristiano Ronaldo, we are saving that for a bit later. Because what the Portuguese star said is so completely unexpected, so far outside the script of the intense rivalry we have watched for 20 years, that it deserves its own dedicated moment in this video. I promise you will get it, but first things first, let us talk about what Messi truly represents for soccer, and not in terms of raw statistics, because you already know all of those. Let us talk about what he means on a deeply human level. Because there is something people easily forget about sports geniuses: they are human beings too, and humans get tired. People reach a point where they say enough. I have given plenty. And Messi has officially reached that exact point. Just look at what this man has done over these last few seasons. Some critics actually claimed Messi was completely finished, that he only moved to MLS to cash a paycheck and walk around the pitch. But that is a flat-out lie. What Messi has pulled off in the United States is nothing short of a sporting miracle. He took a league that people dismissed as minor and put it on the global map. He packed massive stadiums in American cities where soccer was not even on the radar. He got millions of Americans, people who did not even know what an offside rule was, to absolutely fall in love with the game. And on top of that, he delivered endless goals, brilliant assists, and major trophies. He just kept on being Messi, even when almost everyone doubted he could ever reach those heights again. And now, he says he is leaving. So I have to ask you, are we really ready for a soccer world without Lionel Messi? Are we truly prepared to turn on the TV on a Sunday evening and realize there is not a single match anywhere on the planet where this man is going to work his magic with a football? Because I will tell you the absolute truth, I am not ready, and I do not think Luis Suarez is ready either. And as crazy as it sounds, I do not think Cristiano Ronaldo is ready either. But let us get straight to the point because we have a lot to unpack. After the 2026 World Cup, Messi went through something that almost nobody believed he could survive. At his age, with his long history of injuries, and carrying the immense physical toll of a career spanning over 20 years, Messi still managed to dominate on a stage that routinely crushes the absolute best players, carrying the heavy pressure of a passionate nation like Argentina on his shoulders, with millions of fans waiting for him to pull off the impossible one more time. And he did it, entirely on his own terms, displaying that deep, quiet calm that belongs only to the elite, delivering those passes that look so effortless until you realize that no other human in the history of this game could have ever made them, showing up at the precise split second, the exact moment when his team needed him the most. And that is exactly where Luis Suarez was, watching every single game, every minute, and every play. Suarez, now fully retired, no longer stepping onto the pitch as a player, watched his close friend Messi keep doing what he does better than anyone else. And what Suarez felt during that intense tournament is the core of what he told Messi today through heavy tears. But it is not quite time for that yet. Not just yet. Stick around. Because when we finally get to that moment, I promise you, it will give you absolute goosebumps. This is not just about a game of soccer anymore. This is about a deep, unbreakable friendship. A bond that has survived absolutely everything. From club transfers, to moving to different continents, dealing with major injuries, devastating defeats that would break anyone else, and historic victories that united them forever. Messi and Suarez are not just former teammates who happen to get along. They are brothers, and they have openly told the world that many times. Their families have dinner together, their kids grow up playing together. When one was struggling, the other was always the first to call. When one of them won, the other was always the very first to celebrate. That incredible on-field connection, those blind passes, those plays that looked like telepathy, were merely a reflection of something much deeper, a lifelong bond that goes far beyond the game. And that is why what went down today is so incredibly powerful, because this is not just some random teammate pleading with another player to avoid retirement. This is a brother begging his brother not to walk away, not to leave him all alone, and not to take that beautiful magic away from the world just yet. Just think about what Suarez must have felt when he heard the news. Picture it for a split second. You are just relaxing at home, and suddenly you look at the TV or get a text on your phone: Messi is retiring. The exact man you shared the greatest years of your career with. The guy who used to feed you passes that literally nobody else on earth could even see. The brother you embraced tightly after every single goal as if it were your last. That very man now says he is done, and he is never coming back. What do you do? What do you feel? Suarez did exactly what anyone with warm blood in their veins would do. He wept. He broke down right in front of the whole world without hiding it, voice cracking and eyes completely filled with tears. And then he spoke. But before I tell you exactly what he said, before we go into every detail of his plea to Messi, I need you to understand one crucial thing first. You have to understand why Suarez's opinion carries so much heavy weight, far more than any reporter, any manager, or any passionate fan on the planet. Because Suarez is not speaking as an outsider. Suarez speaks from the inside, from the trenches, from those legendary Champions League nights where they locked eyes before stepping onto the pitch, communicating without words that they were going to take the win today. From those intense, closed-door training sessions where Messi pulled off spectacular moves the public never saw, leaving Suarez as the only privileged witness to his genius. Suarez is easily the closest living witness to the unstoppable Lionel Messi phenomenon, and when that closest witness weeps and begs him not to walk away, you know something truly massive is happening. Now, let us get straight to the heart of what you came here for. But first, a staggering stat that will give you chills, something you absolutely need to know to comprehend the sheer scale of what is coming next. Messi currently brings in around 50 million euros a year, combining his actual club salary with major endorsement deals tied directly to his playing career. 50 million euros a year. That is the massive financial hit the soccer world takes. The second Lionel Messi decides to walk away, but it does not stop there. Major League Soccer, the league where he plays, has pulled in roughly 400 million euros more every single year in TV and sponsorship revenue since Messi arrived. 400 million euros. Just let that sink in. One man, one single player. A 400 million euro economic impact. If Messi walks away, all of that money simply evaporates. There are some who say the league owners are shaking in their boots just thinking about it. And I truly believe that far beyond the affection, far beyond their personal friendship, is one of the main reasons why absolutely everyone is begging Messi not to retire. Because Messi is not just a soccer player. Messi is an entire industry. Messi is a massive economic engine moving hundreds of millions of euros every single year. And when that engine threatens to shut down, the entire world starts to tremble. But Suarez does not care about the money. For Suarez, what truly matters is something else entirely. And this is where we really get into what happened today. Suarez, with tears welling up in his eyes and his voice cracking every other second, said something that sums up everything he is feeling inside. He said that Messi is still, to this very day, the absolute best player in the entire world. Think about that. He did not say one of the best. He did not say he is among the best for his age. He said the best with no asterisks, no conditions, the best player on planet Earth at this very moment. And coming from a man who has played both with and against the very best for 15 long years, those words carry an absolute ton of weight. Suarez said that what Messi achieved at the 2026 World Cup made him incredibly proud, explaining that he watched every single match, every play, every single gesture, feeling deeply proud not just as a close friend, but as a genuine fan. Because Suarez admitted something that very few soccer players ever say about a teammate. He said that besides being a friend, he is a fan of Messi. A fan. This is a guy who has scored over 500 career goals, won Champions Leagues, domestic titles, and endless individual awards, openly admitting through tears that he is a fan of another soccer player. Do you realize what that actually means? Do you see the incredible humility and deep love behind those words? And this is where I get a lump in my own throat too, because Suarez went on to add something else. He said that he does not miss a single one of Messi's games, that he watches absolutely every single one. Whether it is a league match, a friendly, a summer tournament, or even a World Cup final. Suarez watches them all just like any regular fan, like a kid sitting on the couch who is simply enjoying his idol, except his idol also happens to be his brother, which makes it so much more intense. And then, the plea he made to Messi. Suarez said, with his voice completely cracking, that he is begging him not to stop and to please keep on playing, not to rob the world of the privilege of watching him play soccer. The privilege. That is the exact word he used, privilege. Because for Suarez, watching Messi play soccer is an absolute privilege, a joy that the world simply cannot afford to lose. Not yet, not right now, not when he is still capable of doing what he does. And I have to ask you, is Suarez right? Should Messi keep going, or does he have the right to leave whenever he wants, in peace, happy, with every trophy already won? Because that is where the debate lies, and it is a debate with no easy answer. On one hand, you have to respect the choice of a man who has given absolutely everything to this sport, but on the other hand, something deep in your soul wants to beg him to stay a little longer, to give us one more year, one more season, a few more of those goals that make soccer truly worth watching. And that brings me to the other massive bombshell, the one I promised you from the start, the one that will keep you glued to your screen. Cristiano Ronaldo, the man who has competed head-to-head with Messi for 2 decades, the man who spent half his life trying to prove that he was the superior player, the man with whom Messi has shared the absolute greatest rivalry in the history of sports. That man broke his silence today, and oh my goodness, what he had to say. But before I tell you exactly what Cristiano said, I need you to understand something fundamental about this rivalry. Because some people think Messi and Cristiano actually hate each other, that there is a real enmity, But the truth is far more complicated than that. They have taken jabs at each other, yes. They have provoked one another, yes. They have competed like two absolute titans for nearly 20 years, pushing each other to heights no other player has ever reached. But behind that rivalry, there has always been immense respect, a deep respect that both have acknowledged in private and on a few rare occasions, in public. And today was one of those rare occasions. Cristiano Ronaldo, upon hearing the news that Messi is planning to retire, made a dramatic statement that has left the entire world in complete silence. He fully acknowledged the rivalry, saying that yes, the competition was absolutely fierce, and that both of them went head-to-head on the pitch with everything they had, that this legendary rivalry defined an entire era of soccer. But then he said something that absolutely nobody expected to hear from his mouth. Cristiano Ronaldo has openly stated that Messi cannot stop playing right now. He is saying the entire soccer world still wants to witness his genius, and that walking away now would rob the sport of something truly irreplaceable. Do you even realize what just went down? Cristiano Ronaldo, the very man who spent 20 long years battling Messi for the ultimate throne, is begging him not to walk away. He is telling him soccer needs him, that his legendary talent is just too massive to pack up in a box and there is more. Because Cristiano did not just stop at a public statement. He actually promised to make this plea himself, directly over the phone, planning to call Messi on his personal line to beg him to reconsider, to beg him to keep playing. Think about that, the fiercest rival in soccer history picking up the phone to ask his ultimate adversary not to retire. Honestly, you could not write this in a movie script because absolutely nobody would ever believe it. And yet, it is actually happening. This is where my brain as a fan completely explodes. Just think about it for a second. Cristiano Ronaldo, who is still out there playing, still competing, still desperately wanting to prove that he is the greatest of all time, is actively begging Messi to keep going. What exactly does that tell us about them? I think it reveals something incredibly deep about what Messi represents even to his rivals, especially to the one man who fought hardest against him. Because when your absolute biggest rival begs you not to leave, it means your absence will leave a void that nobody else can ever fill, not even him. Look, I have my own take on this, and I am going to give it to you straight. To me, what Cristiano did today is one of the greatest gestures in sports history, not just soccer, but all of sports. Because it takes an immense amount of character to look at your eternal rival and openly admit to the world that soccer is worse off without him. Not just anyone does that. That only comes from someone who truly understands that their fierce rivalry, above everything else, was a beautiful thing, something that ultimately made all of us better, something that elevated the sport to a level we will probably never witness again in our lifetimes. Now look at the contrast with what Suarez said, because these are two completely different messages saying the exact same thing. Suarez is speaking purely from love, from deep brotherhood, through the tears of a close friend who simply cannot bear to lose his partner on the pitch. Cristiano speaks from respect, from a rival's deep admiration, recognizing a fellow warrior who stood right across from him on the battlefield, and knowing his worth. Two completely different voices, one single message. Please do not go, Leo. The world is just not ready, but there is one question that nobody seems to be asking, and I think it is the most crucial one of all. What about Messi? What does Messi actually feel about all of this? Because right now, we are only talking about what we want, about what Suarez wants, what Cristiano wants, and what the entire sports industry wants, even what those massive sponsors want with their hundreds of millions of euros at stake. But nobody is taking a second to ask what the actual human being behind that number 10 jersey really needs. And Messi made it very clear in his interview. He needs to stop. He needs to rest. He needs to wake up one morning without the pressure of being the best on earth. He needs to pick up his kids from school without calculating if he will make it to training. He needs to live. Simply live. And I really have to wonder if we have any right to ask him to give that up. Do we have the right to tell him no? You cannot stop because we still need you. Because, to be totally honest, that is a deeply selfish demand. Beautiful, yes, and human too, but selfish at the end of the day. And yet, isn't that exactly what love does? Isn't that what deep admiration does to us? Suarez cries because he loves his friend and cannot bear to see him stop doing what he does best. Cristiano speaks up because he respects his rival and knows his absence makes the game poorer. And millions of passionate fans all across the globe are feeling the exact same way right now. Because Messi does not belong to us, right? But in a way he does, because he has given us so much that we feel a part of him is ours, and watching him leave feels like losing something totally irreplaceable. Now, I want you to do something with me. I want you to think about your very first memory of Messi, that exact match, where you saw him do something and realized this guy is not human. For some of you, it might be his debut with Barcelona when he was just a kid. For others, it is that legendary Champions League night where he absolutely destroyed an entire team all by himself. For others, it is the 2022 World Cup final against France, a match many call the greatest in history. Whatever it is, we all have one. Every single one of us has a classic Messi moment permanently burned into our memory. Now, imagine there will not be any more that the next great Messi moment simply won't exist. All we will have left are memories, YouTube highlights, and statistics on Wikipedia. That is exactly why those tears from Suarez make total sense. Because he is not just crying for himself, he is crying for all of us. He is weeping for every soccer fan who knows deep down that whatever leaves the pitch with Messi is never coming back. It does not matter how many new talents emerge, how many prodigies appear, or how many promises are fulfilled, there will never be another Messi. And when something that precious disappears, the only possible reaction is the one Suarez had to cry, to plead, and to beg him to stay. And here is something that is incredibly hard to admit, but it has to be said. Because the tears of Suarez are also the tears of a man who has already been there. Suarez already retired. He walked away from the pitch and knows exactly how it feels. He knows what it is like to wake up one morning with nowhere to train. He knows the pain of watching a match on television, feeling you should be out there, but you simply cannot anymore. He understands that empty void, that no hobby, no business venture, no personal project can ever truly fill, and he knows Messi is going to face that. He does not want his brother to go through that morning if it can still be avoided, if he still has legs to run, the talent to create, and the desire to make us happy with a soccer ball. Let us look back at Cristiano for a moment, because there is one detail you cannot miss. Cristiano has made it clear that he will call Messi directly on the phone. No public statement, no tweet, no Instagram post, a direct call, person to person, legend to legend. And when I picture that conversation, it honestly gives me chills. Can you imagine being in the room when Cristiano Ronaldo calls Leo Messi to beg him not to retire? Can you imagine the heavy silence on the other end when Cristiano says, "Leo, the game needs you"? That is a moment that transcends any title, any Ballon d'Or, or any goal-scoring record. That is soccer in its purest form. Two men who gave absolutely everything to this sport, bound by a rivalry that made them immortal, sharing a moment of absolute truth. And what strikes me most about the statement from Cristiano is actually what he left unsaid. He did not say, "I am retiring too." He did not say, "If you leave, I leave." He did not use the moment to talk about himself. He only spoke of Messi, of the incredible talent of Messi, and what the sport would lose without Messi. Coming from someone with an ego as massive as Cristiano, a healthy, competitive ego, that level of generosity speaks volumes about him as a human being. And I have to confess something to you. When I first heard this news, my immediate reaction was anger. Anger because it felt completely unfair for Messi to leave. Anger because I felt like we were being robbed of something that belonged to us. But then I stopped to think, and I realized that the anger was just a mask for fear. Fear of a soccer world without Messi, because we have lived with him for so long that we have no idea what soccer even looks like without him. Those of us under 40 have never known a world where Messi does not exist. He has always been there, constant like the sun, necessary like the air, and now he says he is leaving. And it is as if they suddenly told you the sun will not rise tomorrow. But there is one thing Messi said in that interview that really made me think. He said he wants to walk away happy, not broken, not dragging himself along, not as some shadow of his former self, just happy, with his head held high, knowing he gave absolutely everything he had. And that, no matter how much it hurts us, is the greatest thing an athlete can do. Choosing when to leave, rather than letting time force you out. Not waiting for your own body to betray you right in the middle of a massive match. Deciding on your own terms that the journey ends right here. And that is exactly what Messi is doing. And no matter how much Suarez cries, no matter how much Cristiano begs, no matter how much the whole world pleads, in the end, the decision belongs to him and him alone. And look how incredibly strange this is. Two men who have experienced the sport in completely opposite ways, from completely different sides of the spectrum, have arrived at the exact same place begging Messi not to leave. Suarez, the close friend, the confidant, the brother from the locker room, and Cristiano, the fierce rival, the ultimate competitor, the eternal antagonist, both on the exact same side, for the first time in history, brought together by the only thing that could unite them, the shared realization that Messi is someone the game simply cannot afford to lose. Now let us talk about something highly critical that I have not seen anyone mention yet, because everyone is so caught up in the heavy emotions, the tears, the pleas, And while all of that is truly beautiful, there is a hard, practical side to this that involves some massive numbers. If Messi retires, his club stands to lose an annual revenue that analysts estimate at no less than €200 million from ticket sales, jersey sales, broadcast rights, and sponsorship deals tied directly to his name. €200 million. That is the staggering cost of a Messi retirement for just one club. For the entire league, that number multiplies. We are talking about a massive financial impact, with several €100 million vanishing overnight. And that is not even counting what the Argentine national team loses, his personal brand deals, and the entire economic ecosystem that lives off Leo Messi. Let me be absolutely clear about this. When there is that much cash on the line, the tears from Suarez and the calls from Cristiano are not just pure emotion, they are also a reflection of an industry that knows that without Messi, business is worse, much worse. Hundreds of millions of euros worse, and that does not take away from their genuine feelings. Suarez is crying real tears. I have absolutely no doubt about that. I am absolutely sure Cristiano is speaking the truth. But behind every single tear and word, there is a brutal economic reality. Soccer without Messi is just a much poorer sport in every single way on the pitch, emotionally, and definitely financially. Now comes the final part where I need you to take a stand. I laid out the facts and what Suarez and Cristiano said. Now it is your turn. First question, and I want your thoughts in the comments. Should Messi stay, or does he have the right to walk away whenever he wants? Both sides have a point. I want to know where you stand. Second question, what hit you the hardest? Was it Suarez's tears or Cristiano's statement? Both were massive, but for completely different reasons. Suarez speaks from the heart. Cristiano speaks out of respect. Which one moved you more? Third question, and this is the toughest. Do you think Messi will change his mind? After hearing Suarez cry, after getting that personal call from Cristiano, after seeing the entire world beg him to stay, will he actually reconsider his decision? Here is my theory. I truly believe Messi has already made his decision. By the time he gave that interview, he had been weighing this for months. This is not a sudden tantrum. It is not some bad day he will just get over tomorrow. This is a decision made, processed, and completely locked in. But if there is anyone who can shake his foundation, it is Suarez. Messi listens to very few people, but he always listens to Suarez, so I will leave it there, leaving that question mark in the air, with a weeping Suarez begging him to stay, with Cristiano picking up the phone to do the exact same thing, and with Messi holding the biggest choice of his career in his hands. This is no longer just about soccer. It is a life decision. Does he leave happy now, or stay a bit longer for the people who love him?